This episode is sponsored by KMV Travel, a boutique travel agency that helps families plan personalized vacations and create unforgettable memories on land and at sea. You can learn more and start planning your next vacation by visiting kmvtravel.com/skyway. Welcome aboard Imagination Skyway, your grand podcast tour of the magic. I'm your host, Matthew Krull, and today we are continuing our Disney Resort Collection series with a very special episode recorded live from Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, our topic for today's discussion. In fact, we recorded two separate episodes on this property. The first is focused on the Great Ceremonial House and the Longhouses and Bora Bora Bungalows that are part of what we'll call the classic side of this opening day resort hotel. Then stay tuned for the following episode, which focuses exclusively on Island Tower, the newest addition to Disney Vacation Club that opened on December 17th, 2024. In both episodes, you'll, I hope, enjoy the ambience of Disney's Polynesian Village Resort and the distant sounds of Seven Seas Lagoon and Magic Kingdom Park. Needless to say, I had an amazing time recording these episodes with Kelly Craig from KMV Travel, and I sincerely hope you find our discussion not only informative, but also very enjoyable. At the end of the show, we'll return to Imagination Central, where I'll share ways in which you can stay connected with Imagination Skyway, how you can discuss this topic with others, and how you can help support and inspire the future of this show. Please remain seated, keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times, and enjoy your grand circle tour aboard Imagination Skyway. Kelly, I am so excited to have you back on the show because normally I'm staring at you through a screen, but now we're actually here in person. And if you can't tell from the background listening, those are the sounds of Disney's Polynesian Village Resorts. And it is a gorgeous night.
It is a perfect night. I feel like I should have dressed more tropical for this.
I should have too.
But yeah, it's a little chilly though for me.
We're going to talk about another resort real quick because I just stayed at Disney's Riviera Resort for the first time and I loved it so much. I considered getting one of those Tommy Bahama Riviera shirts and that would have been perfect for the vibe
Yes.
of Polynesian. I should go back and get it and come back.
Yeah.
But regardless, this just reminds me of how amazing this resort is. And we've done our last resort episode was Pop Century, not to downplay that, but we go from Pop Century to Polynesian, and this feels like a very different vibe. We're staring at Cinderella Castle, Grand Floridian Contemporary, over here on the beach. So I'm excited to talk to you about Polynesian, and because it's so historic of a resort, and now it's changed with Island Tower, we're doing two episodes instead of one.
Yes.
So Polynesian is going to get special treatment through this show for good reason. Before we jump in and talk about Polynesian, I like to do rapid fire questions about the resort themselves. So I have, how many? 4. These are true rapid fire questions for you, all related to Polynesian. Okay, number 1, Ohana or Kona Cafe?
Kona Cafe. Very
good. Why Kona Cafe?
Because I don't like the vibe of Ohana. I know I'm the only person in the world. I know, but
you're not.
It's relaxing to me, Kona.
I can appreciate that. I pick Ohana for breakfast, Kona Cafe for dinner, so I'm cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know the Tonga toast is great.
Yeah.
Great reason to do Kona Cafe. But anyway, monorail to Magic Kingdom or ferry boat to Magic Kingdom?
Ooh. I'm gonna say ferry boat, but also I like to walk.
Yeah, there's the third option.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were gonna say that, because that's actually my favorite too, is the walk.
Yeah, it's nice.
Or the monorail would be another good option, but Joanna would say the boat. That's her favorite way to go. I'm curious, based on number 1's answer, how you're gonna respond to number 3. Trader Sam's or Tambu Lounge?
Trader Sam's Terrace.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is technically a third, so
I'm cheating
I'll give
on
you that
all
one.
these.
That's good. I like the cheat answers. Last one, there are multiple room types, but deluxe studio or standard deluxe room?
Deluxe studio.
Yeah.
I like the kitchenette.
The kitchenette,
Yeah.
and now the bathroom set up in the
Yes.
refurbished studios.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If you have a family, again, we're going to talk about Riviera for a second because we're just there, but we stayed in a 2-bedroom villa, and Joanna's mom and aunt stayed in the second bedroom, which is similar, different bed setup, but similar to the Deluxe Studios at Riviera. And same idea, they had this split bathroom, so they literally showered at the same time after coming back from the pool, getting ready for dinner.
Yeah, it is a game changer for families.
It just makes such a huge difference. So, how are you?
How are you?
Good. So, let's talk about Polynesian. Have you stayed here before?
Yes, so I've stayed here 3 times, and I have stayed in a resort view room, just a regular. That was in like 93 though, so I probably shouldn't even count that.
It counts.
Yeah, that was
It's been
my
around since
first-
71.
yeah.
It counts.
I think it was 94, but anyway, it was my first visit. And then I have stayed in a club level room here, and I've also been lucky enough to do the bungalows. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I haven't even gone closer than this to the bungalows, and I used to work at Disney Vacation Club, so that's saying something. And I was working there when they were building the bungalows, so I could have had the chance to see them, but other than the concept art, I didn't get, and of course the artwork for the marketing
Yes.
materials, I didn't get far beyond that. So I've stayed here once, and that was about 6 years ago now, which is crazy, only for a 1-night stay. And that's it. It was a standard deluxe room in an outer building. We really only saw the resort for 8 hours to sleep, and then we left. And that was it. Otherwise, we spent the day at Magic Kingdom. So as someone now with 2 young daughters, I'm literally staring at Cinderella Castle and my home resort over at Grand Floridian and thinking about how perfect this location is for so many reasons. And I'm just excited to dive into it. But we should probably talk first about the history of Polynesian, because there's an extensive history of this property. I'll go through a few quick little facts about it, and then we'll open it up to anything else you want to share about the resort. But it was only one of 2 opening day resorts. It was Polynesian and Contemporary were the only ones here that were opening day. And the third one, Fort Wilderness, which was opened soon after Walt Disney World opened, but not exactly on that day. October 1st, 1971 is when Polynesian opened. The original version of the resort was not going to be longhouses. So this goes back into Island Towers, talked about next, but according to Disney Parks blog, quote, an early concept for Disney's Polynesian Resort featured a 12-story tower, a bold design that might have looked more at home among the luxury hotels on Honolulu's Waikiki Beach.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna get ahead. We're getting ahead of ourselves talking about the tower, so we'll skip that for now. We're gonna talk a lot about the tower in the next episode. Another fun fact, this came from WDW Radio, which I love Lou's podcast. The Disney company collaborated with architectural firm Welton Beckett and Associates on the design of the resort, with the primary architect being Pierre Cabrol, who was also known for his work on the General Electric Pavilion in the 1964 World's Fair, the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Hollywood's Cinerama Dome, and Capitol Records Building.
Wow, that is a resume.
That's quite a resume. So truly, I don't want to call it award-winning architecture, but a notable architect who worked on this. During the grand opening, the Polynesian hosted guests such as Bob Hope, Lucille Ball, Fred McMurray, the governors of Florida, and the Disney family. And then in the 1980s, the village portion of the name was dropped, leaving the resort as Disney's Polynesian Resort, which is how I remember it when I was first coming here as a kid. And then the name was changed back in 2014 to Disney's Polynesian Village Resorts, which coincided with the opening of the Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows. So that was why they did that. Do you remember the old lobby?
Vaguely at this point.
It feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it really does.
And would you have a preference? Because so many Disney fans are, I think, they go one way or the other.
Yeah.
You have the diehard nostalgics who say bring back the waterfall, and then the ones who like the new concepts. Do you have a strong preference one way or the other?
I was going to say, I think the only thing I remember is the smell of that lobby.
That's true.
So
that water smell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
makes a difference.
Maybe that just for the nostalgia.
Okay. Yeah, I love the nostalgia of the old one too. The interesting thing is with the new resort, I learned so much digging deep into the history of this resort. So in 2014, they obviously changed from a water feature to a tiki of Maui, who is the resort's mascot. And according to an opening day manual of Polynesian, Maui was chosen because, quote, he slows the sun down to make the days longer so that our guests may enjoy the slower paced, more casual atmosphere of this delightful South Seas resort.
I love that.
Yeah, encourages you to slow down, which is, I think, polar opposite to how a lot of guests think about a Walt Disney World vacation. But
that's true.
we're again staring at Magic Kingdom, gotta get there, get to as many attractions as possible. There are so many facts about this that I found so interesting, and this is not even everything that I found about this resort. So, also with the new lobby, thinking about how the Imagineers design resorts very intentionally, quote, the round glass lights hanging from the ceiling in the Great Ceremonial House are made from glass fishing floats. Floats such as these were used throughout much of the early to mid 1900s to keep fishing nets afloat. Fishing floats were often lost at sea and have been known to wash up on the shores of the western United States, western Canada, Taiwan, and many islands across Micronesia. Over the years, these floats have been collected by beachcombers who have turned them into everything from lights to tchotchkes and more.
Wow.
So those are there. And do you know, this is trivia, any of the names of the longhouses at Polynesian?
Oh gosh. Hawaii?
Yes, that's one of them.
That's where I ended.
That's good. And the tricky thing is they used to have different names, and some of them have actually changed names over the years. So I'm not going to go through what they used to be and who's changed.
Yeah.
But currently they all are named after Pacific Islands. Aotearoa, Fiji, Tuvalu, Tonga, Samoa, Niue, Hawaii, Rarotonga, and then the DVC buildings are Tokelau, Moorea, Pago Pago, and then you have the Bora Bora Bungalows. So each one of those is named after a Pacific Islands. There's a lot of those. Island Tower, again, totally different name. We're almost at the end of this before, because normally, like, how long was my Pop Century preamble?
Oh my gosh,
5 minutes.
yeah.
There's just so much to say about Polynesian. 2021, we saw the rooms updated to a Moana theme. Do you also preference, because this has been a theme, like we've got the Incredibles updates with Contemporary, the Mary Poppins updates, with Grand Floridian, the touches that are already at Riviera. Every resort seems to be up to changing to like these subtle themes. So what do you think about the Moana touches that are in the rooms?
I like them. They're a little bit more prevalent than maybe like the Grand Floridian, but I kind of can understand that. I think it's a nice addition for families. You know, for my family, it wouldn't have mattered either way. Yeah. But I think that they did a good job with it.
They sure did a good job. I haven't seen the rooms in person. Like I said, last time I was here was about 6 years ago. That's last time I stayed here, I should say, was about 6 years ago. But I'm hoping that we'll get the chance to stay here soon. And all right, so last list of quick fun facts, and then we'll get to talking about everything people should know about staying here and everything to consider for a future trip. So at one time, guests could actually surf along Polynesian's beach, which is really cool, in Seven Seas Lagoon, and there was a wave machine that is no longer active, but technically I've heard is still present in the lagoon, so maybe they could turn that on again at some point. There also used to be a wide range of watercrafts available for rent or for excursion, so there were capris, pedal boats, sea racers, pontoons, lots more. 3 more fun facts. Hawaii's state tree, the kukui nut tree, was planted here in 1997, and it was actually donated to Walt Disney World by the people of Hawaii, serving as a symbol of peace and protection.
I love that. That is awesome.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
The resort's music loop, which you might hear in the background, features hours of music from Hawaii and other Pacific Islands. It's not like when you're going to Magic Kingdom and you hear the Disney music. This is authentic Hawaiian and Pacific Island music. And the last thing, which I think I've walked past this hundreds of times and never noticed there's a hidden Mickey in the stone floor when you walk into the resort.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be like what I tell all my families now. I've never seen it.
And I saw a picture of it, and then we haven't walked past that. We came through the monorail station, but yeah, on the first floor when you walk in, on the stone floor right in front of you is a hidden Mickey.
How many times have I walked over it?
It's so many
Hundreds.
times. Okay, so now that I've just chewed everybody's ear off about Polynesian, again, this is like the longest list I've ever had for a property of things to talk about from a history, Imagineering perspective. It's one of those resorts that just you need to take the time to talk about it. So let's get into our normal discussion here. So other than being opening day resorts, let's sort of take that off the table. I like to take nostalgia out of the equation for things like this. What do you think makes Polynesian so special?
You know, I was thinking about this as I was kind of putting together my notes for this, and it was like more of what is not special about Polynesian. That's easier to say. I think it's such a just emblematic resort of Disney and Walt Disney World. And of course, because it is an opening day resort, that's part of it. But it just has the theming that Disney does so well, where you truly do feel like you're transported. I think they've done an excellent job staying and keeping it fresh, you know, bringing in the tiki culture, which that really wasn't a thing in the 90s when we were visiting here. But now with Trader Sam's, they've really kind of leaned into that, which I think is great and makes it a little bit more timeless in a lot of ways. But being so close to Magic Kingdom, I mean, you truly cannot beat this. Where we are sitting here right now, well, standing here right now, we're looking at the beach. If we were here in just a few hours, we could watch the fireworks. Music's gonna be brought in. You can be in the pool and watch the fireworks. There's just so much about this resort that is special to this resort, and you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's this specific angle of Cinderella Castle. You don't get the same view that you would get thinking about the theme park views at Grand Floridian or at Contemporary. Those two resorts are much closer in proximity. But there's something about, and I remember even coming here on the college program before the Bora Bora Bungalows were here, and walking out into that central hill at the end, and you're just looking directly across at Cinderella Castle, even more direct than the Transportation and Ticket Center, and it feels more enchanting. It's more like vacation mode sets in when you're here, right? That spirit of Maui really does sort of, you know, when I'm here, I really don't want to leave the resort, and I don't always get that feeling. Like, I love being at Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower, but then I'm just like, you know what, I just kind of want to walk over to Magic Kingdom. Like,
exactly. Here,
yes, I've got the monorail, I've got the walking path, could easily go over there, but right now I'm just saying to myself, you know what, I'm liking this vibe that I'm feeling right now, and would just love to stay here. So yeah, it's definitely a special resort for so many reasons. So let's talk about room types, and I want to kind of jump to, well, first let's talk about what room types there are. So you're the travel advisor, the expert, so I'm gonna let you run through the list. What are the room types that people can choose when staying here?
So there's a lot here, which is one of the, again, the nice things about staying here. You do have your standard rooms, so just kind of your, you know, 2 queen beds and a pull-out of some sort, and that's going to be a resort view, a water view, or a theme park view. So you kind of have a lot of options there. They do have a lot of club level rooms, which is nice. So you'll have all of those views that you can get for club level, but then there's kind of these special ones too. So there's a honeymoon room, there's a 1-bedroom suite, ambassador VP suite, the King Kamehameha.
I think it's Kamehameha.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
I had to practice that. The King Kamehameha suite.
There we go. And that's the name of the club.
Yeah.
So that one, if anyone ever wants me to be a guest, I'm happy to come to stay in that suite with them. And then of course you have the villas too. So that's kind of cheating a little bit. It's not officially, I guess, but the DVC rooms are over here as well. So you have your deluxe studios, and then you have, of course, your bungalows. So there's a wide variety of rooms and layouts, as well as how many people can sleep in those rooms. So it's a nice option for families that are looking for a little bit more space.
Yeah, the deluxe studios
the villas, which technically the villas are only an island tower. So when we get to that, we'll talk about the 1-bedroom, the 2-bedroom, and the 2-bedroom penthouse villas. But if you're just thinking about the longhouses here at Polynesian, you technically, I mean, we talked about this with Animal Kingdom Lodge, you don't have to be a Disney Vacation Club member to take advantage of those rooms. And to be honest, when I've run out of points, taken advantage of some great discounts to stay at the deluxe studios. I've got to be honest, I've never considered a cash rate for the bungalows, but it's a different budget than I'm used to. But
get a lot of friends together, 8 friends.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You've stayed in the bungalows, so what was that experience like?
It's a little like, I don't know, it's kind of like what it's like the bucket list for Disney, right?
Yeah.
Is to stay in the bungalows. And I will say I was very lucky. My parents are DVC members and they, don't come very often. So they said, hey, let's stay for 3 nights. And we got to do that. But you go in and the space is just used so well. And that's, I think, across the board with DVC rooms. But you're going to have a queen bed, you have a king bed, those are in separate rooms. And then you have another queen pull down. And then you also have those kind of like Murphy beds that come out. And this is like really for Disney fans because you pull out that Murphy bed and it's the electric water pageant is in the back, the artwork. And then you go out onto the porch area, the patio there. And that's really where it's like, all right, I kind of get why this costs so much. You have a little pool there, you have some seats, some loungers, and then when the fireworks go off at night, the music is pumped into your patio. So it is very special. It is something that I wish everyone could experience, and hopefully I experience again, fingers crossed, but I'll take it for once if that's it. But it's beautiful, it's a great experience.
Yeah, you're just, when you get here, I think you understand why it's priced the way it is for points and for cash, because you're literally one of about a dozen houses on Seven Seas Lagoon with, when you talk about electrical water pageant, you have a front row seat to electrical water pageant, more so than the people standing on the beach at Polynesian. You're on the water, very much inspired by Bora Bora, hence the name, the Bora Bora Bungalows. And yeah, it's everything you could want as a Magic Kingdom Seven Seas Lagoon fan and more. The only difficulty is the longer walk to get to dining. That's about the only negative of having this little house on Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yes.
But that's when room service comes in handy or grocery delivery.
Exactly, right?
You could never leave that bungalow and be perfectly happy.
Yeah, we definitely took advantage of the bungalow where we stayed. It was a rest time. It was not a park time for us.
No, and they have, I think, and I didn't write this down in my notes, but if I remember, don't they have a hot tub or just like outside?
It's like I can't remember what they call it, but basically it's not a hot tub. It kind of, to be completely honest with you, we were there in September. It was a little warm, so it kind of felt like a hot tub. But it is just a pool. The ones over at Wilderness Lodge, those cabins, they have the hot tub.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, Wilderness Lodge is also on the list for us to eventually get to.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. And maybe I'll do a research stay there if I get the chance.
In the cabins, of course.
Yeah. So other than that, obviously you mentioned the 3 different views: standard, resort view, lagoon or preferred view, and theme park view. Do you have a preference?
Gosh, if I'm going to
theme park
pick,
review is
exactly, right? But I would say, honestly, if I had, my pick of anything, I would do just a resort view and do club level, because the view that you get for the fireworks there is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I think if you're not going to be spending time in the room, the theme park view is a novelty, not really something you need, and you could reallocate that additional cost for the view to instead get the benefits of club level. So I like that. So that actually leads me perfectly into the next question, which is about the King Kamehameha club level. What do you remember you've stayed there? So like, what was that experience like? I've heard from people who have done multiple club levels that is the club level, even maybe more than Grand Floridian, which is perhaps, from what I've seen, it's more like classic and elegant, but there's something about this Polynesian club level that people adore. So what was that like for you?
I mean, first of all, just the location of it. You have these, floor-to-ceiling windows that you're looking out. So you're looking out onto the beach, you're seeing the view of Magic Kingdom. So it's just a beautiful spot to be. But when you check in club level, you are not checking in at the front the same way that you would. You have your own group that's basically checking you in. So you don't have all of the weight that you have and everything like that. So that's a nice piece just there. But then when you're in the club level, they have all these different food options, wine and beer that's included. And it's all throughout the day. They have different, a breakfast, a lunch, and it's, you're still gonna have to go and get your lunch or your dinner or something, but there's definitely a lot of options that were there. They had the cheeseburger spring rolls from Magic Kingdom. Yeah, and I said, well, this is worth a stay just for that. But it was wonderful. I am a big tea drinker, so for me, every night being able to get my cup of tea, my cookie, and watch the fireworks was priceless.
Yeah, that's one of those reasons to slow down if you are going to be doing club level, is to take advantage of the food that's offered, the relaxing space. It's on my list to do this club level at one point. I've done, so I know this is the only one you've done.
Yes.
I've done 2 others and then plenty more to do. And I don't think, I've only talked about Coronado. That's the only one I've talked about that I've done. What other perks come with club level? I think we talked about this with the Kilimanjaro Club at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but I guess as a refresher. So obviously you do get the dedicated check-in service, bypassing the main check-in area, the access to that sort of complimentary food, beverage, snacks in the lounge itself. Are there other perks that guests enjoy with the King Kamehameha Club?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is going to be the concierge team that you have there too. So the concierge team here is kind of on the bottom floor of the building that they have them in. So if you have a question about dining, about your lightning lanes, whatever it is, instead of having to go to the app and chat that in, you have somebody that you can directly speak to face-to-face, which for someone who goes to Disney all the time, I was like, oh, I'm never going to take advantage of this. But it was like I had a question. I'm like, well, let me just ask them. And the service that you're getting there is obviously, a different level. So that was a really nice perk to get. And I think a lot of people don't talk about that. But that is just wonderful to be able to ask a question before you head out to the parks. Or, say, hey, I'm looking for a dining reservation. Can you assist me with that? And they're able to assist you.
Yeah, it's nice to have that little extra support while you're on vacation. In the spirit of slowing down, in the spirit of Maui, there's obviously a lot that can be done on a resort day. Again, it's sort of, these are the reasons to splurge on a deluxe resort. And I see that all the time when I post about deluxe resorts. There are those who are just using the resort as a place to sleep, lie their head, and they're at rope drop to close every single day at the parks. And then I get it. You're just here other than some of the other perks of a deluxe resort, transportation, the slightly larger rooms, usually different setup. But other than that, if you're not going to be spending time at the resort, I get it. But Polynesian is a place where if you are staying here, you should probably plan a resort day. So on a resort day, what are some things that guests can enjoy doing?
Oh my gosh, it is like, this is going to be like your intro.
Go for it. Good.
So with Polynesian, I think one of the big things that my families always ask about is pools, wherever they're staying. And the nice thing is, of course, any Disney resort has a pool, but there are, not every pool is created equal, right?
Yes.
So here we have the lava pool, which we can kind of hear in the back.
Let's actually walk over there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It is one of the ones that I think
It's maybe go this way.
if you're a kid, you're going to remember this. I mean, I have memories of this pool, and it is a little different, but it is this 0 entry, which I love that because it's easy for little ones. It's easy for mom and dad to hang out with the little ones too, but still keep an eye if you have older children. We do have a water slide here as well, which is always a nice thing. And the other thing with this is there's going to be the bars and everything right there, so you can always grab food, which is nice. But you can watch the fireworks from here. So that's something that I think a lot of families, they're like, all right, I'm sold. Like, this is just the coolest experience, and think about the memories that you have with your kids doing that. But if you want more of a kind of chiller pool experience, there is the Cove Pool, which is over at the Island Tower. If you are staying at Polynesian, even if you're not in the Island Tower, you can take advantage of that. So, and vice versa. and there is the Moana splash pad, which is over there. So that is the Moana's Voyage, and it's so cute. If we should probably share pictures or something of that. I'm sure you have
I
some.
will.
But they did a great job with that. I think it's reminiscent of at Disneyland Hotel when they added that Steamboat Willie splash pad. They've done a really great job with those. But if you're looking for like much chiller, more of a leisure pool, the Oasis pool, which is kind of closer to like the bungalow side, that's there as well. And you actually can get, they call it Oasis patios. So not cabanas per se, but that's essentially what it is. It's a pay up, but you have your own space and you can have up to 6 people there. So that's a nice option if you're looking for something a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
So those are the pools, but there's lots more. Of course, we have the campfire activities, which will happen at any of our Disney resorts, but they do have it here. And then there's going to be the movies under the stars. And with all of these, I would just say when you do check in, there's going to be a board that will have all this information up on it. Make sure what days it's happening, because it doesn't happen every day. The motorized boat rentals, you can do that from here. There's also fishing, volleyball, there's a jogging trail. The spa is just a quick walk over to Grand Floridian.
Yeah, it's literally right there. I mean, that's the wedding pavilion. Oh no, that's the wedding pavilion. That's the spa. Yes.
Yeah. So really, just hardly a walk over there. So you can always take the monorail over, of course, too. And then there's of course the electrical water pageant, which I think is one of the best parts of staying on Seven Seas Lagoon or Bay Lake over here. So you have those opportunities. But like you said, I think if you are going to stay at this resort, build in an extra day to take advantage of all that, because that's your resort. Then you have the monorail access to Grand Floridian, the Contemporary. So if you want to do dining, there's so many options for you, and just to walk around and see the different resorts. If you're staying during Christmas time, you definitely want to have time to go to all those different resorts and see the decorations.
Very true. There's a lot to do. It's there. Even just the beach here, just like there's families that are hanging out on the beach and having a good time. Maybe we can keep walking around the pool to get closer to the lobby too. But yeah, there is the access on the monorail just makes this resort another benefit to the resort, very similar to when we talk about the Epcot resort area, being able to walk from one resort to the next, access the Skyliner like we talked about with Pop Century, that being now a big benefit with that. But you can so easily access all these different resorts and have a great time. So, all right, you talked about pools, which is really good, because now we need to talk about dining. And I counted outside of Island Tower, there are 10 options for dining. So we have Captain Cook's Kona Cafe, Kona Islands, which is an evening sushi bar and continental breakfast. Evening is a sushi bar. Morning for breakfast is continental breakfast. There's also coffee and pog juice that you can get there, which is a little fun fact. You don't have to go to Ohana, but you can actually get pog juice from Kona Island. Ohana, Tambu Lounge, Pineapple Lanai, which again, similar thing. You can get Dole Whip at Polynesian, and there's also a rum option and a pineapple float you can also get at the Pineapple Lanai. Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, like you mentioned, Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace, the Oasis Bar and Grill, which is by the Oasis Pool, and the Barefoot Pool Bar, which is by the Lava Pool. Anything you want to add about dining?
There's just so many options here. And it's nice because there are a lot of options that are both kind of, they pull on the theme of the resort, but also there's a lot that's just for kids. I think Captain Cook's is one of those ones where I always recommend families, if they're looking for something, to come over here because it does have a great menu.
Yes. And it's open later than a lot of other resorts. That's one of the benefits of staying at Polynesian and Grand Floridian, and Boardwalk is another one where there are options that are for dining open until midnight, whereas a lot of other properties are going to be 10 p.m., 11 p.m. So if you are getting back late from the park and you're starving, which has happened to me before, it's so much better to have a place to go, oh, they have late night dining, as opposed to everything is closed, I need to go to the vending machine or snacks in my room, or now Uber Eats or something else to order. Have you sampled any of the pool bars? I know there's just a couple of them. There's the Oasis Bar and Grill and then the Barefoot Pool Bar.
Yes, I do take it upon myself to make sure that I check out all of the bars and lounges.
Very important business.
Yes, I got to make sure that I can provide some insight. No, but there's some great options here, and I think that's another thing too. When you have families, that when you're thinking about where you want to stay, think about how you like to vacation. And there's a lot of families that like to come back and grab a drink at night.
Yeah.
If you're at a value resort, as wonderful as they are going to close a little bit earlier for the bars. So being at Polynesian, you're going to have a few more options when you do come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we'll wrap through the lobby, and then because we're also going to talk about shopping, which is something else that you don't always get at every property. Every property has some sort of shopping, but this actually is. There's two stores here. The boutique instead of boutique first on the first floor, and Moana Mercantile on the second floor. Do you have a favorite between those two?
I love boutique just for the name, I think. And I also really do like the offerings that they have in there. If you've been to Aulani, or you've just been to Hawaii in general, they have some great food options in there, just for like the chocolates and the macadamia nut cookies and everything. So there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of the deluxe resorts in particular have such great merchandise. Resort specific.
Yes.
Merchandise that's available between shirts, mugs, like even I don't know if Polynesian has, but like Riviera has a candle that's scented after the resort. And yeah, the name is just super, super clever. We only have a couple more questions, so transportation.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about transportation? Because there's a lot of options at Polynesian.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I think also sells Polynesian. With the monorail that you can get right over to Magic Kingdom. You can walk to Magic Kingdom. You can take the boat to Magic Kingdom. Epcot, you're going to be able to take the monorail. The nice thing too is that you actually can walk to the Transportation and Ticket Center. So I know you had said, I could have done that today.
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought maybe I just, because it's one stop from there to the Polynesian, I'm like, we're meeting in the lobby, maybe I'll risk it. And I waited like 5 minutes. I'm like, I could have been there by now. It's such a close walk. So
I know, but a monorail ride is always nice though too.
Yeah,
so I probably would have opted for the monorail too.
Yeah.
But so you can get over to Epcot through the monorail, and then with Animal Kingdom, Disney Springs, Disney's Hollywood Studios, the water parks, that's going to be buses in the front, and that's going to be the same for Island Tower as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is so much. Do you have a favorite? Well, we talked about the favorite way to get to Magic Kingdom, so we'll say walking is probably your favorite. But last question then is, I feel like we've given so many reasons, but why should someone consider staying here?
It's different for every family, and I always say that, and it's like the cop-out, but it truly is different, because I have families that come here that it's their first time, and the reason they're coming here is because it is so close to Magic Kingdom, it's so convenient for them, and they do want to build in that rest day, and this is going to give them something where there's a lot to do. There's a lot of food options that are right by them. I have a lot of families that are coming that is their honeymoon, and this is kind of there's a lot of upgraded experiences that they can have here. So you see a lot of different guests that are staying here, because there's so much that's so special about this resort that it can kind of, it can kind of connect with so many families.
Yeah. I think that definitely the attachment to Disney history, the fact that it is an opening day resort, but one that, being in here, it doesn't look like it was built in 1971. Looking at old photos, you can see the progress that's been made, and I know that change is tough when it comes to, especially resorts we're so attached to, but this is one of those properties that I'm very grateful they continue to enhance it, to upgrade it, to modernize it, because it still has that same charm. I mean, there still is all this like South Pacific flora that's in here. There might not be that water feature, but it does call back to the Maui Tiki being the spirit of the resort. And I think once you understand that and connect it, you are maybe more welcome to the idea of that change taking place. So that connection to history, but they've kept this place updated. They've continued to modernize the rooms and make it competitive with other places you could stay. The fact that you can get Kona Coffee here, Pog juice here to go, not having to eat at a restaurant. The fact that you have multiple places to dine for table service, not including the monorail itself. The access to Magic Kingdom, and again, there's something about, and it's hard to describe until you've been here, but you can look at Magic Kingdom from Grand Floridian, which of course I have attachment to as one of my home resorts. You can look at it from Contemporary, but there's something very special about the angle you get from Polynesian, and that's just worth the opportunity to stay here.
Definitely.
And walk around this property. So I know we're going to move over in our next episode to Island Tower, because that's an entirely different beast, but this has been a very special episode, and I hope that everybody else listening enjoys it. Kelly, outside of Island Tower, what resort do you think we should talk about next? And you already know the next one, so I'm going to say let's forget the one we're actually going to do next.
Okay, all right.
We have another one planned.
I'm going to say selfishly Old Key West, just because I think it doesn't get enough love.
You're right, it really doesn't.
Yeah, but also, you know what, maybe a moderate. Maybe.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done a moderate yet. So we've got French Quarter, we've got Caribbean Beach. I did Coronado a long time ago, and Port Orleans Riverside. Am I missing any? Rattling off the top of my head.
No,
I think that's
but
it.
Caribbean Beach is a good one. It's a favorite amongst people.
Well, like I said, I want to stay at Riviera again. So I'll stay at Riviera, and then I'll walk over to Caribbean
Perfect.
Beach.
And we can do Riviera too.
Perfect. Yeah, Riviera's got to be on the list too. But so, yeah, we'll jump over to Island Tower. But Kelly, thanks for joining me for Polynesian.
Welcome back to Imagination Central. Thanks again to Kelly for joining me on today's episode. Remember that Kelly's team at KMV Travel, our official travel sponsor, can help you plan personalized vacations and create unforgettable memories on land and at sea. Stay tuned for our next episode about Island Tower, one you definitely will not want to miss. But in the meantime, if you want to learn more, if you have questions about your next trip, or if you're ready to book your next stay at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort or anywhere else, get started today at kmvtravel.com/skyway. If you haven't done so already, be sure to create a free Imagination Skyway account over at patreon.com/Imagination Skyway. This is your one-stop shop for Imagination Skyway content, podcast episodes, video reviews, chat groups, and lots more surprises, including some bonus content I recorded from Walt Disney World on this past trip. So be sure to create a free account there or consider signing up for one of our paid subscription options for even more fun. If you already have an account and are listening on the Patreon app already, be sure to leave your thoughts about today's discussion directly on this episode. Remember, you can also engage with the show on social media by searching for Imagination Skyway on your favorite app or heading to imaginationskyway.com. As you disembark, please remember to remain fully seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop. Then gather your belongings and watch your head and step as you exit. Thank you so much for riding aboard Imagination Skyway, and remember, if we can dream it, we can do it.